Have you ever felt exhausted not because of hard work, but because your mind feels overcrowded? You open your eyes in the morning, and the weight hits you. Messages, deadlines, comparison, expectations. And in that chaos, you whisper to yourself, something about this life feels off. The truth is, you're not broken. You're just overloaded. Modern life has trained us to equate complexity with success. To juggle 10 things. Be everywhere. Please everyone. And still smile through it all. But this version of life isn't yours. It's a performance. A constant pressure to be more productive, more visible, more liked. But what if the real path forward is less? That's what the Stoics believed. And their wisdom, 2,000 years old, feels more relevant today than ever. In this video, we'll journey through the Stoic path of simplicity, not as minimalism, but as strength. Not as denial, but as freedom. This isn't about giving things up. It's about getting yourself back. Let's explore how we can bring the ancient Stoic clarity into our modern world. These aren't abstract ideas or rigid rules. They're lived practices. These are ways to return to yourself in a world pulling you in 100 directions. From the Emperor's Journal to the modern mind, each of these insights is a doorway, a path back to peace, to power, to presence. So let's walk through them one by one and rediscover what truly matters. 1. The cost of a complicated life. We don't realize it, but complexity has become the water we swim in. It's in the constant stream of notifications, the anxiety of being left out, the quiet panic of not being enough. We chase promotions, accumulate possessions, and broadcast highlight reels. But in private, we feel fractured. Logan, a software engineer in his 30s, had everything people called success. A high-paying job, a luxury apartment, the latest gadgets. But inside, he was anxious, irritable, and strangely empty. He told himself he was just tired, but deep down, he knew. He was living a life built on external approval, not internal alignment. The Stoics would say, he was living outside in, not inside out. 2. What does simplicity truly mean? To a Stoic, simplicity isn't minimalism for aesthetic. It's not about living in a cabin in the woods, or throwing away your phone. Simplicity is a deep inner alignment. It's the art of focusing your energy only on what's within your control, and releasing the rest. It's waking up and asking what really matters today. It's learning to stop running, just because everyone else is. Marcus Aurelius was the most powerful man in the world, Emperor of Rome. And yet he wrote in his journal like a monk, constantly reminding himself to stay humble, grounded, and focused only on what was essential. He wasn't trying to impress the world. He was trying to master himself. 3. What is the practice of voluntary discomfort? Seneca, another great Stoic, was incredibly wealthy, but once a month, he would wear rough clothes, eat the plainest food, and sleep on the floor. Why? Not because he had to, but to remind himself, if everything I have disappears tomorrow, I will still be okay. He called this practice voluntary discomfort. We fear losing things because we've never tested ourselves without them. But when you voluntarily give up comfort even for a day, you realize, your strength doesn't come from what you own. It comes from what you can endure without breaking. Imagine taking a day each week, where you unplug, eat simply, and sit with your thoughts. Not to punish yourself, but to meet yourself. To reset. It might sound useless, but why don't you give it a try, at least once? It might turn out to be a game changer for you. 4. Journaling, the mirror of the mind. Marcus Aurelius didn't write to impress others. His journals were never meant for the world. He wrote to observe his mind, to untangle the knots of emotion and ego, and to align his actions with his values. Journaling isn't about writing your day. It's about finding your way. When you pause each night and ask yourself, did I live today according to my nature? Did I get caught up in noise that doesn't matter? Something begins to shift. You start seeing your own patterns. You start decluttering not your desk, but your soul. 5. Understand the power of no. We say yes too often. Not because we want to, but because we're afraid to disappoint. We take on favors, attend meetings, reply to messages instantly, and in the process, we bleed energy. The Stoics taught that time is our most precious asset. Not money. Not fame. Time. Seneca once said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." Learning to say no isn't selfish. It's sacred. It's choosing peace over pressure. It's protecting your energy, so you can invest it where it truly matters. Your purpose, your people, your peace. 6. One thing at a time. We live in an age that glorifies multitasking. Do more. Hustle harder. Answer emails while eating. Scroll while walking. But the mind isn't meant for this kind of chaos. The Stoics were obsessed with presence. One thing, done with full attention, is worth more than 10 things done halfway. When you slow down, when you eat a meal without your phone, listen without interrupting, or work without distraction, you rediscover joy in the small. You begin to feel alive again, not because you're doing more, but because you're finally here. 7. Memento mori, let death be your guide. It sounds morbid, but the Stoics used it as a way to sharpen life. When you remember that every day could be your last, you stop wasting time on petty things. You stop chasing validation. You start living deeply, urgently, authentically. Marcus wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." This isn't about fear. It's about freedom. When death is real to you, so is life. 8. So, why this matters now more than ever. We are overstimulated and undernourished. We scroll more than we speak. We collect information, but lose wisdom. We chase success, but forget peace. The Stoics offer an antidote. Not flashy. Not fast. But deep. Enduring. Living simply isn't about retreating from life. It's about returning to it. It's about choosing depth over noise. Meaning over image. Truth over trend. Tonight, before you sleep, ask yourself, what am I chasing that doesn't bring peace? What can I subtract from my schedule, my thoughts, my habits to return to myself? If today was my last ordinary day, would I be proud of how I lived it? Simplicity isn't a style. It's a return to your values, your inner strength, and your sacred time. Because in a world that wants you complicated, the Stoic chooses to live clear, to live calm, to live free. Subscribe now for more Stoic wisdom.